Your phone is off. That's a rule you made for yourself years ago. After 10 p.m., the world doesn't exist. You eat alone at a corner table in a restaurant you like because nobody knows your name there. The pasta is good. The wine is better. You've been doing this every Thursday for 2 years, and for 2 years, nothing has interrupted it. Tonight is the last Thursday that will ever feel like that. The maitre d' approaches. He looks uncomfortable in a way that has nothing to do with his job. He leans down and says quietly that a gentleman outside is asking for you by name, not your current name, your real one, the one that appears on no business card, no company website, no LinkedIn profile that anyone has ever found. You fold your napkin. You set it beside the plate. You do not rush. Outside, a black car sits at the curb with its engine running. The man standing next to it is not the kind of man who needs to introduce himself. He's wearing the kind of suit that says nothing, which is the most expensive thing a suit can say. He hands you a phone. On the screen is a number you recognize, not from a contact, but from memory. Everyone in your world has certain numbers memorized. This one belongs to the 43rd richest person on the planet. You answer. The voice on the other end says 3 sentences. The first is an apology for the interruption. The second is a number, 8 figures wired by morning. The third is the situation, stated plainly, without emotion, the way men with that kind of money always state their disasters. His son is in a hotel room in Geneva. There is a woman he should not have been with, a recording he should not have allowed, and a man downstairs in the lobby who was not a journalist but is representing someone who will sell it to one. The father has 22 minutes before the man leaves. He needs you there in 19. You hand the phone back. You get in the car. This is how it always starts, not with a plan, with a clock. You've been doing this for 11 years. Nobody hired you with a contract. Nobody placed an ad. You were a junior attorney at a firm that handled sensitive matters for a family office, and one night a partner walked into your office at 1 a.m. and said, "You're the kind of person who doesn't panic." That was your interview. You've never billed an hour since. Your rate is not discussed, it is understood. You work for 4 principals, that is the word you use, principals, and between the 4 of them you have access to more leverage, more legal infrastructure, and more institutional silence than most national governments. You do not threaten people. You do not bribe them. You restructure reality until the problem no longer has a shape that anyone can hold. The car moves through the city. You are already making calls. The first call is to a lawyer in Zurich who answers on the first ring at any hour because that is what she is paid to do. You tell her you need a suite on the hotel's executive floor, booked in a name she will invent in the next 4 minutes, and that you need the lobby cameras on floors 6 through 10 to experience a technical anomaly beginning in 12 minutes. She doesn't ask questions. That's also what she's paid for. The second call is to a man you know only as Decker. Decker is former intelligence. Which country, you've never confirmed, and you don't need to. What Decker does is intercept, and what he intercepts, he contains. You give him the name of the man in the lobby and tell him you need a full identity picture in 8 minutes. He sends you a file in 6. The man downstairs is named Mikhail Strand. He's a facilitator, a professional middleman who connects people with embarrassing material to people who pay for it to disappear or pay for it to surface, depending on which side is offering more. He has done this 14 times in the last 3 years. You know this because Decker's file is thorough and because men like Strand always leave patterns. Patterns are your favorite thing in the world. You arrive at the hotel with 4 minutes to spare. You do not go to the lobby. You go to the service entrance, where a man with a hotel badge is waiting, not hotel staff, one of yours, positioned here an hour before you were called, because you maintain people in 6 cities for exactly this kind of contingency. He walks you to the service elevator. On the way up, you review what you know. The recording is on Strand's phone. Strand does not sell originals. He sells copies and retains leverage, which means the original is somewhere else. Probably a cloud account linked to a device that isn't on him. You cannot take the phone and call it done. You need the account. You need the credentials. You need Strand to believe that cooperation is the only architecture that protects him, and you need him to believe it fast enough that he hands you what you need before the father's timeline expires. You knock on the door of room 614. Strand opens it. He's younger than the photo suggested, mid-30s, the kind of face that has learned to look bored as a negotiating tactic. He sees you and recalibrates. You can watch him do it, the small reset behind the eyes when someone realizes the other person in the room is not what they expected. "You're not a lawyer," he says. "No," you say. "I'm the person they send when the lawyers would take too long." You step inside. You don't sit. You explain to Mikhail Strand, calmly and without theater, what you know about him. Not just tonight, the 14 transactions, the 3 principals he's currently leveraging, the offshore account in Cyprus that his wife doesn't know about, the pending customs inquiry in Rotterdam that nobody has acted on yet because nobody has needed to. You tell him that none of this is a threat. It is simply context. You want him to understand the geometry of his situation before you make him an offer. The offer is simple. He gives you the account credentials, he signs a document your Zurich lawyer is preparing right now, and he walks out of this hotel tonight with 40,000 euros in a cryptocurrency wallet and a problem in Rotterdam that quietly resolves itself within 90 days. He does not contact the original buyer. He tells them the material was unverifiable. He moves on. You watch him calculate. You've watched 1,000 people calculate. You can read the result before they speak it. He asks what happens if he doesn't take the offer. You tell him you'll sit down. You'll order room service, and by morning, the Rotterdam inquiry will have expanded in scope in a direction that involves his name specifically. His Cyprus account will be flagged by 2 separate financial intelligence units, and the 3 principals he's currently working with will receive anonymous packages containing evidence that he's been sharing their information with competitors. You'll be home by noon. He'll spend the next 18 months in legal proceedings that will cost him everything he has. You're not angry when you say this. You're not satisfied. You're the same temperature you've been since you got in the car. He takes the offer. 20 minutes later, you're in the elevator with the credentials, the signed document, and a voice memo of the conversation you'll keep in an encrypted file that nobody will ever need to access unless Strand reconsiders. On the floor above, the billionaire's son is asleep, or pretending to be. You don't go up to see him. That's not your role. Your role ended the moment the problem stopped having a shape.